Hi friends, it's Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you guys are a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here for another episode. And I do have some new subscribers, and I just wanted to say hi and thank you for subscribing. Just kind of do a reintroduction of myself here. My name is Sarah. I'm, like I said, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. I do a lot of hand-dyed yarn and make little goodies and accessories that can be used for knitting or crochet. And yeah, I primarily started the YouTube videos to show my yarn and showcase it, but then it's kind of become a little bit of a journal as well into my journey of knitting and crochet and the fiber arts in general. I do get into a little bit of spinning once in a while, and I literally I'm going to be getting 3 Shetland sheep starting this weekend, so I'm really super excited. So I'm diving full on into the entirety of the fiber arts. So I'm not everything, I guess. I mean, I haven't really gotten into weaving, but my mom weaves, so I could see that becoming something I might try at some point. But anyway, just to get from the start to finish, like growing the fiber and everything. I'm really excited about all of that. So I'll get into more about the sheep at the end of the video in the life update end of things, but I will talk about what I've been working on. And I primarily really only worked on one project this week again. I can't help it. I got sucked into it, and it has just been such a tried and true relaxation for me, is working on my half and half triangles wrap. So I'll show you that here real quick. It's over here. I have part of another project next to me here that I want to talk about, but anyway, so half and half triangles wrap I worked on pretty much this whole week. So I got some major progress, and you're going to see that I did run out of one of the colors. So this is using 2 of my Multifarious Nature colorways. To be careful that I don't dip my shawl in my nice steaming hot cup of tea. Very comforting because it's kind of chilly and drippy out right now. Nice spring day, actually. All right, so we have, this is Kismet, which is a speckled tonal colorway. And like I said, this is a half and half triangles wrap. It is a free pattern, so I highly recommend it. I do want to say though, it might become an addiction. So be forewarned, you probably will make more than one of these. Okay, and so I started with this colorway, and now we have moved into Strawberry Shortcake. I'm pretty sure I have both of these colors currently in the shop. I for sure have one skein of Strawberry Shortcake, and I'm pretty sure it's on the same base. It's a BFL nylon base. It's a really pretty tonal. And then this one is on my merino alpaca base. So it's merino, it's 20% superfine alpaca and 60% merino and 20% nylon. Super, super soft. It has a beautiful halo. I absolutely love that base. It is one of my favorite bases. And now I did, I mentioned in the last video, so I wanted to use up the last of the 3rd skein of the Kismet. And so I was starting to use that. Well, I did use it all up. I only have, trying to find my end here. This is how many stitches I have left of rows to do. So I am almost there, but I ran out. I ran out a little bit ago. So you may recognize this color if you have been with me for a little bit. This is my cranberry colorway. I think I have some currently in the shop. I absolutely love this color. Knitting with it again makes me really want to dye up a sweater's quantity of it, because I would really love a sweater in this color. It's a beautiful, kind of a brick red. It's definitely a warm red. It's really pretty. And this is on I think this is 100% merino base that I currently have that dyed up on. So I had some remnants from many other projects. This skein was a 150 gram skein, actually. I may have some dyed up in the shop. I don't dye up a lot on my 150 gram skeins, but I did on this one, and this is my third project using this. So the first one I think was, I'm trying to remember here, I'm pretty sure it was a cardigan by Andrew Mowry, and I think it's the So Faded cardigan. It's a faded cardigan, but I used it on that. And then I also used it on a brioche sweater that I made, I think 2 years ago now, about 2 years. It's a brioche sweater by Leslie Ann Robinson. It's the Coffee and Jewels sweater, and I used it in that too. So used it. Now this is my third project. So I just thought it was kind of a fun transition. Make sure I don't drop my stitches because these are sliding around, but we are going from Strawberry Shortcake to Kismet, and then we're now going into Cranberry. And Cranberry, I feel like, really complements Kismet quite a bit. It picks up, so Kismet has some brown speckling in it. It has some like salmon coloring going on and some peach. And Cranberry is this really nice warm brick red, and I feel like it really just goes so well with all that speckling. It just feels like they should be together. So I decided to use the rest of that skein that I had currently, like a remnant. And so now we're doing this last little strip, which I will still probably have some of this left. It's unbelievable. This skein, this 150 grams of yarn, has lasted me a very long time. So we're just using that up, and it's going to be a really fun shawl with lots of fun color, and I'm gonna probably wear it as a blanket though, probably, but it would make a really beautiful shawl as well. And it's just enormous. It's enormous. I could hide behind it. So yeah, I really love it. So I loved this pattern so much. I talked about it in other videos that I wanted to make another one, and I've already started figuring out how I want to do the next one. So the next one, I would like to do less of just the big solid. I kind of love the idea of doing multiple colors and doing the like kind of striped version, but I don't want to do it necessarily like the striped pattern for the half and half triangles wrap where it tells you like how much of each color. I'm just gonna go rogue, so I'm just using up some scraps because I got inspired by like using scraps in this. And I do have 3 skeins of this really beautiful boucle, and I've wanted to use this for something for a while now, and it's not exactly fingering weight. It probably, but it's thin. It's really pretty thin, so I feel like I could use it as fingering. Obviously, there's going to be thicker thin spots. It'll be a little bit like hand spun in a sense, so I'm not worried about it. And it's for a shawl, you know, another half and half triangles wrap, so it's totally fine if it's not exactly cohesive like solid. But I have 3 of these, and it's really beautiful. It has wool in it, and I think nylon. Oh, there you go. Yeah, 53% wool, 30% acrylic, and 17% nylon. So there's some acrylic in there as well. It's going to be pretty darn durable, and I'm not worried about that. I'm going to be using it with some other wool blends. But I have 3 of these, so this could be a majority of one side, but it's not that much yardage. So each of the other skeins of yarn that I've used in my first half and half triangles wrap were all over 400 yards, and this is only, let's see here if I can get my yardage. It does not tell me the yardage, but it's only 50 grams, so basically I have 150 grams of yarn, which is a decent amount, but I don't think that's going to be an entire side of the half and half. It might be, actually. It could be. So this could be one side, is kind of the fun boucle end of things, and then I have a bunch of scraps, like odds and ends. So I made, I did an advent from Woolberry Fiber Co. last year. That was my Christmas gift, and these are some little bits that I had left from that, and I think they'd be pretty with it. They don't have to match perfect. This has a really nice deep navy speckling going on, and then it's kind of a gray color. So just that, And then we've got this fun one. This is also from that same advent. It's kind of a deep green. And then I have some Multifarious Nature colorways that I could use that I have remnants of. This is a silk blend. It is a mess. I need to re-ball this up because this is before this color I dyed up so long ago and used so long ago that I actually hand wound this ball. I have a ball wind, or like a cake here up above. There we go. I have up here. I can make cakes now of yarn, so it's a lot faster and more efficient. However, I did this by hand, so I have to wind it back up. But this is my white pine colorway, which you can see that beautiful sheen because of the silk that's in this. It's so gorgeous. It's super, super soft. I've used this in a shawl that I've worn quite a bit, actually, over the years. I think I made it about 3 years ago. And yeah, it has nice navy speckling going on. This is actually more of a variegated versus like true speckling. But it has navy in there, and then of course this deep green. And again, I just feel like these all kind of look nice together. I don't know. I feel like these greens and blues. So, and then I've got this one, which I think it's Winter's Night. I have it right here, so I should look at my tag. Oh, winter is coming, not winter's night. See, winter's coming. So this one I used a little bit in a sweater that I gave as a gift to one of my friends for her baby, and it's a really, again, it has nice navy speckling going on. This has true, like, very small speckles, and then it's a light wash of these. It's kind of a light gray blue color, and it definitely reminds me of wintertime. And this is from a colorway I made, I think, 2 years ago. I think it's about 2 years ago that I dyed this up. Yeah, it's so pretty. So I feel like this really looks nice with that. Actually, it's very similar. It's not the same at all, but similar enough that it kind of like is the cohesive one that can go with these that really blends nicely. So it's a good way to use up these remnants that I've had. I have a little bin back here of all kinds of remnants from other projects I've been working on, and it's now to the point where it's like bursting at the seams. So I'm really excited to be able to use those, and I'm also very excited to then cast on another one of these half and half triangles wraps, because I really enjoy it. I think out of all the projects I have, especially if I'm on the go, if we're traveling, or I only have like 5 minutes in the morning to knit, it is the easiest thing to knit on. I don't have to remember where I'm at. This is a pattern where you look at it and you learn it immediately, and you do not have to look at the pattern until you're basically changing color. And by changing color, I mean like finishing up one triangle and then going to the next. You just have to remember how to resolve the stitches in the middle. Super easy, super easy. You do that, and then when you do the next triangle, again, you just knit until you get to the finished part, and then you bind off loosely. I've watched a video. I don't think the pattern actually recommends it, but I did watch a video. They did recommend using 2 sizes up for your needle when you bind off, and you're binding off in the knit stitch. That way it just gives you that nice stretchy bind off, because so the way I did this, I don't know if the pattern actually calls for this. I probably should have looked at that before I told you guys, but the edge on both triangles, I actually slipped the last stitch. I just feel like it gives me a really nice finished edge, and it's nice and stretchy. I don't know. I just really like the way that looks. I don't think the pattern calls for it. I did not bring the pattern in here, so I can't verify that at the moment. It's a free pattern though. If you go on to Ravelry or Pro Soho itself and look up half and half triangles wrap, you'll be able to find it. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. And again, just doing that slip stitch down the side, it gives it just this really nice finished edge that's super stretchy, so that when I block this and it opens up fully like this you can see is how it's going to open because of the weight is pulling down on this. And it's gonna grow. It's gonna be huge, enormous. Like this as a shawl is basically a blanket. So why not just use it as a blanket? Because when you unfold it, it's a massive square. It's a huge square. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And I want to make another one. So this one is like kind of pinky and definitely some warm colors in there too. And it's a warm pink too. It's a very vibrant pink. I just think it's so pretty and so fun. And it makes me so happy. I smile every time I'm working on this. It just makes me feel good, and it's nice to have a blanket on while you're knitting. It just becomes a blanket while you're knitting, so it's wonderful. So I'm excited to basically make another blanket, but it's going to be more these kind of cooler colors, and this really beautiful skeins that I've wanted to use for a while. And again, this is my goal this year was definitely to try to focus on a lot of the wonderful yarns that I currently have in my little, it's not little, it's become kind of big stash. And a lot of them this yarn has been gifted to me. I'm pretty sure this beautiful yarn was gifted to me, and I have 3 skeins of it, and it's so pretty. And I just really would like to use it in something. So I'm trying to go through, again, some of my stashed yarn, the remnants I have from other projects, so that I can use it up and have it in a fun project. And not just languishing on my shelves. And yes, so it's ongoing. It's ongoing, but I'm getting there. And I highly recommend this pattern. If you guys have not made a half and half triangles wrap, you should jump on it. I was very late to the game. This pattern has been out for a while now. It's been out for so long that I think I mentioned this in other videos. There are knitters out there that have made, I think, 7 of these. So it's been out for a bit, and it's clearly very relaxing. It's just knit stitches. So this is, if you're trying to do a pattern that allows you to practice knitting and not looking at your knitting, this is an amazing pattern for that. It has really helped me when we're traveling. Then I don't have to look down, which that's helpful because I like to look out and see what's going on around me. I like to see the terrain. I like to see buildings, things of that nature. That's how I am. And so that way I can do that while I'm knitting, and I'm still knitting, which I love doing. The process is a lot of fun. It's very relaxing, but then I can also take in my surroundings at the same time. It's kind of the ultimate multitasking, which I don't feel like I do very well, but I can do it to an extent. And this pattern is a great way to practice that if you are someone who wants to learn how to knit without looking. I am not an expert at doing that yet, that's for sure. But I do find I'm getting so much better when I'm doing stockinette knitting. So just give you guys that tip that I've learned from my own experience. But I guess we'll get into that life update end of things now. And if you have worked on a half and half triangles wrap, maybe I can wind this as I'm talking to you. If you have worked on a half and half triangles wrap, I would love to hear about it. I would love to see photos of it, for that matter. I think they're so pretty, and I'm intrigued by doing, I know there are some that truly like to do the original half and half triangles wrap, where they're 2 solid colors, and that's wonderful. I really like playing the different colors, and it's kind of fun because, well, for one, even being a wrap, having multiple colors is fun, but to have multiple colors and use it as a blanket, I feel like that's the ultimate. It's a lot like a quilt in that sense. Maybe that's what it is. I've wanted to make a quilt for the longest time. Again, I have so many hobbies. If you guys didn't know, I haven't talked about it because I don't really do it that much lately. It's been years. But I like to sew as well. So I've sewn garments for myself in the past. What else have I made? I don't know. But I've always wanted to make a quilt. And I actually started a quilt. Like years ago, I started a quilt. I have pieces in a bag that, I really would like to work on. And I'm doing it the slow way. In other words, I cut the fabric down into the shapes, and then I was trying to do the English paper piecing with it, but cutting each individual piece, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I don't think it's, not that I don't think it's worth it. It's just that I enjoy knitting so much more and spinning so much more. So it's languishing. Someday, I'm sure I'll get an itch to start working on it again, but there you go. So maybe that's why I like the half and half triangles wrap with multiple colors, because it reminds me a lot of blocked quilts, and that maybe that's my way of having a quilt without having to sew it. So there you go. But we'll get into the life update end of things now. So as I mentioned, we're going to be getting our sheep this weekend, which I'm super excited. So yesterday, we actually got to go play with them again, socialize with them some more, and socialize with the other little lambs that she has. They're so stinking cute. They're getting bigger. Not a lot bigger, but they're definitely fluffier, that's for sure. Their wool is getting fluffier, and they are so soft. So stinking soft. And sweetest little things, and the rams are getting more rambunctious. Oh my gosh, they are ridiculous. Some of them are so silly. They're jumping all over the place, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So I got my full-on lamb fill yesterday, and then Saturday midday we get to go pick them up, which I'm so excited. If you guys didn't see, I shared a post. I finally figured out how to do it. Not exactly the best with posting things when it comes to photos and stuff. I don't edit my videos, which is why they're kind of wonky, and I might say something weird, but I don't edit it out because I don't edit my videos. But I don't know how to share photos in the video because I don't edit my videos. So I finally figured out how to upload the photos just as like a post. I think it's considered a post. So it's in my community area, I guess. I think that's where it's at. If you go under Multifarious Nature here on YouTube, and I think it's under community, I think that's where it's at, then you guys can see the photos I put up. So I put up a couple photos of their little house, and it's so cool. My husband actually worked really hard on that. I didn't really do much to it. I helped here and there, but he really did the brunt of the work on it. He did such a nice job, and I think it's cool. I think it's like a fort. I think they're gonna love it. And so I get to put a few photos of that, and then I think I put at least one photo of part of their pasture area, so you guys can see that. I think the photo I put up was the side that actually needs some growth. So I'm really excited that we'll have the sheep in there, because I think between their droppings and everything, I think they're going to really help that land get reestablished. Most of it is fine, but there is like one section of it that is just it's kind of rough shape. So I'm excited to see that come back to life. That will be great. Yeah, and I think that's all I shared on that. And then I did also share a photo of our garden, or I'm going to be sharing. I can't remember when I scheduled it to be posted. I think it should be posted after this video, or it's going to be before it. It just depends on when this gets uploaded. We will see. The internet's always tricky. But I shared a photo of my garden area for my veggies, and I'm really excited. I started planning what we're going to plant and where we're going to plant it. I have raised beds. I did not build those. The prior owner did. They were retired, and they made a beautiful garden, and they had a beautiful veggie garden, and I'm so grateful. This is definitely our dream property, and I'm so So grateful, and we are very blessed to have it. So that's for sure. But yeah, that's gonna be a project coming up here once it starts warming up. We are getting there. We are getting there. I want to say usually it's around early May that you start actually planting a lot of things. So that'll be exciting. A lot of fun veggies. Some veggies that I haven't planted before. And let's be real, guys. I haven't planted many veggies. I am not a big gardener. I'd love to be eventually, but I haven't ever had the property to do it until now. So I'm just kind of experimenting and going with it. I did learn last year that you do not want to plant your tomatoes in the same patch twice. Apparently this is a well-known thing, but I didn't know that. So if you are going to be planting tomatoes and you didn't know that, there you go. I'm sharing what I learned, is that don't plant your tomatoes in the same spot twice. Apparently they can get the blight. It's like a blight. And it's really sad because the year prior, like when we moved in, we had tons of tomatoes. It was unbelievable. I've never seen tomatoes in a little garden like that I've ever experienced. Never, ever, ever. And last year was like super traumatic for me because I wanted to make more. So out of all the things I canned, and it took a lot of time to do all this canning, the tomato sauce is what I use the most. We made a lot of meals with it. It was delicious. And I just made a basic sauce that you could then add spices to, so that depending on what you want to use it for, you could use it for soups, stews. It was kind of a very basic sauce. So I didn't really add many spices or anything like that. That way I could customize it for whatever meal I'm making. And we used up all of it. And I wanted to make more of it last year so that I could have it for this year. And I couldn't because there was hardly any tomatoes. There was literally enough tomatoes just to use in like basic little meals, not enough to can. So that was super sad. So I'm hoping this year I can do that again. It is a lot of work to can it, but it was well worth it because we did use it. So I will say that's for sure. Anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I learned in gardening that I want to share. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, if you guys have any gardening tips, I would love to hear them because I am learning and it is quite the process. That is for sure. But look at this mess. Look at this mess. This is why you don't leave your ball flopping around when you're trying to put it in a bin of leftovers. Because what basically happened is a chunk of it fell off and then I just left it. I should have wound it right up right away. I didn't. And this is what happens. Learn from my mistake, guys. Learn from it. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, I think that's it for this week. A little bit of a shorter video compared to other weeks, but again, I did not do a whole lot of different projects. I worked on one and it was so much fun. I do have some other projects I've been working on. Again, I keep alluding to this. I will talk about it in the near future, but it's just, I'm just not there quite yet, but I'm happy to share about it soon. Anyway, goodness, this has become a mess. I don't even know anymore. All right, well, I'll leave you guys at that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will definitely share some photos of the little lambs when I get them home on Saturday. I don't think that I will be posting them the same day. It'll probably be a different day that I'll post photos, but in the coming week, definitely keep an eye out for some cute little lamb photos because they are absolutely adorable, and I look forward to sharing it with you guys. Have a great week. Take care.